We will never truly find ourselves. If you're willing, you will always be in the process of finding yourself, which is actually the ideal. Because if you've done any level of studying of different disciplines in life, you'll find that there is no real endpoint to any of it. You know, we get caught up in this notion that life is about finding that happily ever after state. At least I did, because I watched way too many Disney movies as a kid. And it took a lot of sort of unlearning, I guess, to understand that the day-to-day struggle is actually kind of where you want to be. And you can make that easier by reframing your perspective. I'll give you an example. So, depression, something I have suffered from throughout my life. And the general framing of depression is that it is an ailment that, some people might not be able to pin down. A lot of people can't pin down, but they just know they feel sad or they don't feel good about their general state of being, right? I mean, it can take on many different forms, but just to give you a high-level view of it, big picture, that's what depression feels like. And it's something I think a lot of people imagine needs to be solved, like either through medication or some ritual or something else, which all of those things can be valuable. But a new perspective I've gotten on depression is the idea that it's actually less of a problem with you per se, or with me, but actually a part of the soul. And I use the term soul loosely here because I know not everyone is spiritual. I'm not the most spiritual person, but that's a separate thing. I'm just going to use the word soul so that we're on the same page with the term. The soul wants you to do something, right? And it's a very sophisticated way of telling you, because you hear this all the time, right? People achieve the conventional levels of fame and success that a lot of people aspire. Not everyone aspires to be rich and famous or whatever. But you're talking to an actor, so that's just the way I've perceived the world for the longest time. And despite having made it, per se, they're still depressed. They're not happy. There are people all across the social stratosphere that feel sad about one thing or another, whether it be their relationships, the things they wish they had. It doesn't matter. But the interesting part is I was listening to a psychoanalyst by the name of James Hollis. He was doing a podcast, and his notion was that at some point in his life, he found the career that he believed was the most gratifying thing. And, he did really well at it. But despite having reached that point, he fell into a really great depression. So his idea of it was actually that the soul was trying to tell him that he needed to do more. He needed to do something else, right? And so that led him down a different branch of his career. He didn't completely 180 shift, which, you don't have to. But I'm going to have to cut this video early because I'm already here. But what I want you to take away from this talk is that you don't have to look at yourself as someone with a problem or with an issue. You could look at it as, maybe having a box that needs to be checked, right? If you are feeling sad about something, and maybe you don't know the reason why, there's many times I don't, all you have to do is try to narrow down what that might be caused by. I made it sound really simple. I know it's not, but in some ways it is, because you don't need to overwhelm yourself with the minutia of all the conditions of life. Maybe I'll save this for another video, but life is conditional, right? There's all sorts of expectations that our friends and family have, our coworkers, our partners. And in order for us to feel loved and accepted, we do everything in our power to try to meet those expectations. What I'm saying is you don't have to worry about that here. Just focus on what you think you need. All right? And you just chip away at it one day at a time. Okay? I don't know what that means for you. Prayer, meditation. Remove yourself from the day-to-day stimulation, reaction. You know, we get swept up in everything. If you can just take 15 minutes for that, then I think you'll come closer to answering that question. Anyways, I got to go react to some stimuli, so have a great rest of your afternoon, and I'll see you in the next one.